Welcome to the Work, Wealth, and Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and this podcast is your guide to start creating a lifestyle by design. From entrepreneurship, money and finance, taxes and residencies, and everything in between, this show highlights the nuances of a true global citizen lifestyle. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to the Work, Wealth, and Travel Podcast. So, today's episode is a solo episode. It's the last episode of the year on one of the last days of the year. And I know on Fridays it is usually our Digital Nomad Digest, but Cami and I are taking the week off. We are going to chill and we're relaxing. We're enjoying the holiday season. Neither of us are with family, but we are still enjoying in the places where we are right now. And I'm in Paraguay and I'm a little bit sick. So if you can hear it in my voice, I do apologize. I got sick basically the day after I arrived in Paraguay. And I don't really know what it's from. If it was from the travel, it's not like I traveled far. It was like a 4-hour flight, or if it's because of the heat in Paraguay. It's so hot, and so you always have aircon on. At least I do. But I'll get to that a little bit later about a little bit more about Paraguay and the heat and what you can expect and what the heck I'm actually even doing here, why I am here. But first of all, on a more personal note, for just about a week, my first week here in Paraguay, I'll be here for just over a month. But my first week, I am house sitting, I'm cat sitting. I'm probably a few days into the experience, and it's so nice. And you could probably hear him meowing in the background. Apologies for that. But it's so nice to have an animal around, a pet around after traveling full time and not really having a home base for the last 3 years. It is really nice to have a pet around, have an animal around. But with that being said, I've never really had a kitten. I've actually never had a dog in my life. I would love to have a dog if and when we get a temporary or partial place of our own, whatever that may look like. But I have had cats, but they've all been not older cats, but just not kittens. And so this cat is a kitten, and oh my gosh, so much energy. I kept the door open last night for him to come in and sleep with me because I'm used to my cats doing that. Then he comes in at I have no idea what hour of the night, and he wants to play, and he loves playing with my hair, which is fun. And so he comes in and he starts like chewing on my hair as I'm sleeping in the middle of the night. And so I just had to close the door and lock him out because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is not what I'm used to in a cat. So small animals, definitely a lot of work for the baby animals. I don't know if I would love to get a cat or a dog in the future, but I think it's going to be an older animal. It's going to be an adult. And I said that even before this experience, but I don't think it will be a puppy or kitten. They're cute, but I am busy. I feel like I'm always online or out doing something, except in this heat, more online during the day. And I just don't have the energy for it. But it is nice to be back in Paraguay. It is nice to be house sitting and to be in a home. And it's not a luxury for most people, but it is for me in my lifestyle. Having a washing machine. I was talking to, so my partner's in Mexico, which I'll be there in about a month, but I had to come to Paraguay for some business. And I was talking to him and I was saying, it's so nice to just walk downstairs and be able to do your laundry. And he was like, yep, I totally agree. Because he's also in a home in Mexico. So he has a washing machine. I have a washing machine. I don't need a dryer. I actually hate drying my clothes. And I hate washing my clothes if somebody else is doing it. I'm wearing a white shirt right now. And we were just in Peru. I had somebody wash it and they got like, you know, when you get the detergent all over it, and even after it's cleaned, you can still see like the detergent stain. That happened on my never been washed before brand new white shirt, but at least it's white. So I think it can be bleached. I don't really know too much about that. So I'm sure I'll have somebody do that at some point to the shirt and all of my whites because that definitely happens, unfortunately. I also feel like I can't really buy nice clothes, which I will talk about that in a minute and kind of what our plan and our goals for 2024 is, because I think we're going to slow down on so much of the travel that we've been doing, but for a very intentional purpose, which I know I talked about in last Friday's episode with Cami. But I'm going to dive into that a little bit more today. But yeah, so Paraguay has been really great so far. I will still be here for about another month. I am still doing a lot, meeting a lot of people throughout my time here, but I have been sick. So I've just been like laying very low. It's almost New Year's. And it's so funny because I've told a few people here that for New Year's, my plan is to do nothing, to not go out, to sit in front of the TV. I'd like to watch so for me, the New Year's that I know on TV is the New York, I forget the name, but like the New York City ball drop. That's the one that I grew up watching. And for me here, I know that if I go out somewhere, they won't have that. So not that it's a big deal. I'm used to everything being different and being in Spanish, but I just want to be at home. I want to journal. I want to write out my goals for 2024. Again, I already have them, but I want to write them out again. I've already started taking action on them and just continue to do that. Watch the ball drop on TV in New York. Actually, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking it'll be like 3 a.m. for me. So maybe that won't be feasible, but I'll watch something online and it will be nice. I think that New Year's, and I feel like a lot of people, when you get to your late 20s, especially and older, you feel this that New Year's is just so overrated. I've had so many New Year's where I'm out and I'm with friends and we're partying and then I can't get home and it's so hard to get a taxi or an Uber. I know that will be the case here as well. And I don't want to be with somebody who's been drinking and driving. I mean, that definitely, not that they're always drunk per se, but that definitely is very common. Whereas in North America, at least in Canada, if anybody has like one or maximum two drinks, they're like, I'm not driving. I'm not going to take my car. Let's Uber. I have to turn the aircon down a little bit. It's still so hot. And here it is just not like that at all. They don't usually think about if they're going to be drinking, they just take their car by default, don't even think about Uber or cabbing. So that was a pretty big cultural difference that I realized in all countries in South America, kind of Mexico downward, is it's a very different culture when it comes to that. I don't want to be put in that situation, but I also just know I'm never going to get an Uber home. And it's gonna be one of those nights where I'm out until like 4 or 5 in the morning, not having fun, just trying to find a way home. So I think I am just going to stay and chill, which is honestly what I want. It's so funny because when I've told people here that, they're like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, do you need to come with me and my family and my friends? Like, I'm happy to have you for New Year's so you're not alone." Like, no, I want to be alone. Like, I could make plans. I do have friends here, but I choose to be alone. For a lot of Western people, that would make sense. They would be like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like you want to chill, it's gonna be hard to get home. It's gonna be New Year's is so overrated in my opinion. And everyone I've talked to kind of says the same thing after you've had so many party and like disaster New Year's where you can't get home. It's just so overrated. But people here, I feel like have a different mentality of that. That was kind of interesting and funny to talk to people thinking that I'm just like alone for New Year's. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm good. My goals and plans, like I said, I touched on this a little bit in the last episode with Cami, but for 2024, and I'm getting very clear and intentional on what this is going to look like, I really want to have a intentional lifestyle by design. I feel like I have been very intentional the last 3 years, I would say, of us traveling full time. And of course, I was intentional for the 3 years before that when I moved to China. I was very intentional with why I wanted to go there and what that would look like. And then when I left China and started traveling full time, I was very intentional about what that would look like. But now I feel like I have come to a different season in my life where I don't just want to travel just to travel. We've traveled a lot in the last 3 years, like full time. Neither of us work for companies. We work for ourselves. We make our own schedules. So we've had a lot of flexibility and freedom, which is a blessing. And I'm so, so grateful for that. But I want to level up for 2024. And we're not just going to be traveling just to traveling because, oh, we haven't been to this country and it's close. So let's go there. Or we haven't been to this country and we've been in this part of the world for a while. So let's go to another continent, to a country that we've never been to. That's kind of the way that our travels were planned out in the past, which I love because I don't like being too predictable. I like having some spontaneity in where we're going to go and not really having that super planned out. I have other intentions, other goals. I think we might be staying. And again, this is not planned out yet. Like the only plans I have are until February or March-ish, we're going to be in Mexico and Canada. Lots of things are happening with my family in Canada. So it will definitely be really good. I need to go back there for a bit and different things with my business in Mexico, which is amazing. We definitely see it growing there a lot. And also just for personal reasons in Mexico as well, and to be with my partner's family. But we don't have any other plans after that. And I like that because I want to be very, oh my God, the cat just jumped up on me. So apologies for that. I was not expecting to get scratched. We're going to be very intentional with what that looks like. We don't want to travel just to travel. And actually, travel is not even the priority right now. If I end up staying somewhere for 4 or 5 months, then that is okay. If we get a home base, we have like the washing machine and all of the things, that's okay with me. But what I want is to build connections to further the business. That is really what I'm looking for. And that can be difficult if you are living the lifestyle that we're living. And it can be done. It definitely can be done if you're traveling month by month in a different place. It's just a little bit more difficult to build connections when you only have 1 month. But now, when I say build connections, I don't just mean hanging out with other nomads and other people. I really want to build, of course, I want to meet other nomads and hang out with them. It's been really great to do that over the years, but I really want to build strategic business connections and people who run their own business, who are bringing in high revenue month over month into their business and who are at the level where I want to be, who are the millionaires, the multimillionaires. That is what I aspire to. And I'm only going to have that if I'm around those people. And this podcast has quite honestly been an amazing way to meet those people. I have had so many amazing, like groundbreaking entrepreneurs who do have that high monthly revenue and know exactly what the trajectory of their business looks like on this podcast. It's been very interesting to speak to them actually in the next few guest episodes. And a lot of the episodes that I've had in 2023, a lot of those Wednesday guest episodes have been those aspirational, high earning, very, very skilled entrepreneurs in whatever their industry niche business may be. So those are the people that I want to be very intentional about being around. Well, of course, continuing to meet other nomads and entrepreneurs. I really want to level up. And I've started making these connections. It's really interesting to see how people levels up from you think and what their thought process, not only in business, but also just on living life, what those look like, and philanthropy, and really having a completely different outlook and worldview than what me, for example, who was born very middle class, had. I'm looking to really level up myself and be very strategic with that in 2024. So that is my plan. I mean, it doesn't just happen starting January 1st, 2024. It's already happened. I'm already building the connections. It's been, like I said, it's been really amazing, very insightful. And, we've all heard it before, but it's different when it is actually something that you're taking action on and something that's so relevant in your life, but you want to be the dumbest person in the room. And I think there's so much to be said for that, to just close your mouth and to listen. So, yeah, we have so many goals for 2024. That's just one of them. But the business has been growing. Like I mentioned in a few solo episodes back, or maybe it was last week, one of the solo episodes, how I'm going to be cutting down on not always 3 podcasts per week. Some weeks it will be 3, some weeks it will be 2. It just really does depend. But yeah, I am very excited for what 2024 will bring. That is the plan and the goals. Those goals are more important to me than simply just traveling and being new places just to see it. That is now secondary. We've been doing that for so long. It's been so amazing, but that is no longer the primary goal and focus. And I feel very blessed to have a partner who also feels the same and who also completely agrees and is very business minded. I mean, that's what we originally connected on when we started dating in China, was business and the mindset of it. So I am very grateful to have somebody who understands that and who wants to be in the same boat and the same rooms as I do. So let's talk about Paraguay. Now, I've talked a little bit about the heat. So we were here in, I want to say like April, May, June. And April, May, June, it was Not this hot. It was still hot, I will say. I'm not gonna say like it was cold. You don't need a coat or really even a jacket, but it was not the hot, sweaty humidity. I would compare this to maybe like a Miami vibe, I would say. Some days it's definitely Miami humidity. Other days, like yesterday, it was sunny and hot, but it wasn't so humid. But most days here in December, January, February is really the peak months from what I have heard. I will be here for basically all of January. So poor timing, I guess, on my part. But it's so hot, so humid, like Miami humidity, except there's really no water. There is in one of the cities, but it's not like an ocean or really a big mass of water by any means. So if you are coming to Paraguay, I would say definitely plan out your times. Come after like March, I would say. I would feel like March to October is probably a pretty good time to come. If you can come in like July, August, that would probably be a little bit chillier, but perfect because I don't think it gets that cold. I haven't been here in July. We were actually in Buenos Aires in July and it was cold. Like you did need a jacket, but it wasn't Canadian weather cold by any means. Okay, so Paraguay, yeah, there's a few things that I came here to do. I'm not going to share all of them. A lot of them are business related, but I am looking at some land. I am looking into a few different investment options and just going to see where that lands. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, it's not. So I am really in 2024 just and now, it's not 2024 yet, but now going forward really just focusing on things come into my life for a reason, and then I can choose whether I want to act on that or not, but to be really open to all of the possibilities because I think it's so easy to not be open to things and to just say no, 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 no. And I can feel myself because when opportunities are presented, my default is like, no, quite honestly. And I have to go back and think like, why is this a no? This could be an amazing opportunity. I'm asking the universe for these opportunities. So I need to acknowledge when they come around and explore if it actually is a good idea or a good investment or a good whatever it may be. So being open to things and really just manifesting what I want in my life. And so that is the 2024 theme, one of many. But yeah, I'm here in Paraguay, not for the long term, but for a few different reasons. And then I will be back in Mexico and where my partner is. It's colder right now. And so I'm so excited to get back to not extremely cold, like not snow or anything like that, but definitely a little bit chillier. I'm ready for that. So I think that is a wrap on 2023. I think I've shared a lot of my insight of what I'm doing, what the personal side of my travel has looked like, and what my business trajectory has looked like. Of course, I haven't shared everything with that on the show. That's more of a behind the scenes. But I definitely have some interesting opportunities coming up in Paraguay and in other countries. So if you are interested, then check me out on YouTube and grab my freebie in the show notes. And then you will be signed up to my email list. And then from there, you will get all of the updates. I no longer send like cute, pretty emails. Actually, I got rid of my Flowdesk, which was kind of the cute, pretty email provider. And now I just send like the real shit, honestly. I just send if something's new, if something is exciting, if I have a new video out that I think a lot of people would be interested in, then I will just write up a few sentences and hit send. It's nothing crazy. I personally hate going through emails where I have to like read paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. Quite honestly, I am not in almost. There's a few people whose world I'm in enough to care about that, but I am not in most people's world who I'm subscribed to their email newsletter enough where I actually care to read through any more than two paragraphs, like two short paragraphs. If it's longer than that, I'm probably gonna delete or unsubscribe, quite honestly. And there's very, very few people who I feel otherwise about. So for the most part, I'm keeping it clean, simple. It's just text. It's me writing it and then pushing send. I recently sent one out about the Canadian apostille agreement. If you are thinking about getting your Paraguay residency and you are Canadian, then definitely check out the apostille agreement, which comes into effect on January 11th in 2024. I've been waiting for this day for so damn long. And China also in 2023 became a part of, I think it was a few months ago, I don't know the exact date, but very recently became a part of the apostille agreement as well. So those are two huge countries that are now a part of the Hague Convention apostille agreement. It's going to make Canadians and Chinese life so much easier. There are still quite a few countries that are not part of the apostille agreement. Paraguay is, which is nice, but a lot of them are smaller countries, I would say, or less developed countries. But don't know how Canada was not on there before, but it is now. So thank gosh. So if you are interested in residency, citizenship update, investment update, bank account update, all of the things for global citizen living and lifestyle, that's the direction that the podcast is going in 2024. And that is the direction that the YouTube channel has been in for a while. So if you do want actionable information, that's probably where you want to go. My YouTube, where I actually have like how to get residency in whatever country, Argentina, Paraguay, whatever it's going to be, Greece. What is citizenship by investment? What are the investment options for different countries, Caribbean passports? Then a quick note on that, actually, for Caribbean passports. I'm pretty sure I've been speaking to my contacts on the ground in the Caribbean, and I'm pretty sure that the pricing structure is going to go up in 2024. So if you are interested in that, I had a whole episode on it, but if you are interested in that, then seriously, this is not like a act now fear type thing. Like the prices are very likely to go up in 2024 for four of the countries because St. Kitts and Nevis did increase their pricing in 2023, which is why the other four countries will likely be increasing their pricing as well. So honestly, $100,000, $125,000, $150,000 for a passport. And there are other investment options. Some of them have real estate or bonds. But I would say if you want just like a very easy one and done deal, do the donation. It's not a lot of money for a passport. Yes, there is not visa free travel to your Canadas, your Americas, and whatnot. But some of them do have access to Russia, to China. So to really great emerging markets. And if you have a passport that already has access to those tier A countries, Canada, America, Australia, UK, then that might not be so much of interest to you anyways. So it's a good option to continue passport stacking. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes in 2024 to residency and citizenship schemes that are out there now. We have seen so many changes in 2023 and 2022 alone, where there are, I believe it's 11 now citizenship by investment programs. Cyprus got rid of theirs. There have been quite a few that have been axed. And I only see it getting more difficult in the future, quite honestly. I have so many people reaching out to me and saying, like, hey, I have my residency in like this country and this country. Are there any other easy residencies to get that don't require time on the ground and require like a few documents? And the answer is no. There are only a couple countries that offer that. And I don't know how much longer it will be offered in some of these countries, specifically Mexico. So maybe a few more years maximum, I give it. So if you are interested in getting additional residencies, citizenships, whatever it may look like, bank accounts in other countries as well to diversify your banking, opening businesses in other accounts. Like now is seriously the time. And like I said, not fear mongering at all, but I foresee many, many changes and not for the better, unfortunately. 2024 going forward, just making things so much more difficult. As we've seen in increasing years, it's only become more difficult, but just continuing to make it more difficult for those who are looking to diversify, which is so many people from all over the world. I get emails from Canada, America, Europe, Africa, India. Oh my gosh, it's wild. And business people who want to diversify and who want different options and who want to get started on that now, because who knows how much longer that will be around for. So I've probably talked long enough. I could talk so much more on probably all of these topics, but that's it for today. And I guess that's it for 2023. I hope you have an amazing new year. Thank you. Really, truly thank you for listening. And I hope you have enjoyed the show throughout this year. If you are a new listener or an old listener, I appreciate you all the same. I really, really do appreciate you listening to every single episode, to caring about this global citizen lifestyle. If that is you and that is something you're passionate about, like me, then that is so important, increasingly more important if you do travel and you do have that location freedom. You don't need to be tied to one or your home country. Then this is the place to hang out. We're going to be having so much more good content around entrepreneurship, global citizen lifestyle, travel, all of the things in 2024. Thank you for joining me here. All of my links are below if you do want to connect, if you want to check them out. Everything is linked below. And if you actually go to my YouTube and you go to the show notes there, or the description, I guess it's called, there, I have all of my links included in my YouTube description. So check those out if you kind of want all of the links, all of the freebies, all of the things. That's where that will live. But thank you. And I will see you in 2024. You've just listened to the Work, Wealth, and Travel podcast. If anything from this episode resonated with you, I would appreciate if you share this podcast on your socials. And of course, be sure to tag me. And don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for joining me on this global citizen journey, and I'll see you in the next episode.